Hi, this is Rob Leo. We're going to continue our discussion of Google Sites. I think we're finally ready to publish this site. Before we do so, we're going to check out the different themes that you can apply to your site. By default, Google has set you up with a simple theme. And if you recall, I changed some color schemes around and so forth. Notice the blue color is checked here. If I click on pink, it'll change the color scheme of the entire site to fit that template. If you change the font style, light, classic, or heavy, I think it's best to take a look at the title in particular when you do this, because you can see that the title text certainly changes quite a bit, and the regular text also does as well. So it's up to you what you prefer. I try to keep the end user in mind, what might look best for them. But all of these templates kind of are really just a one-stop shop. There's not much creativity you can apply other than selecting a template that you might like. So let's say instead of simple, I go with the Aristotle theme. Notice you see the underline in the title. You see that reflected here on the title. And as I go from page to page, you'll see something similar. The gold color, for example, was part of my palette. Notice it's now gold. If I switch it to blue, notice my palette now has the blue icon instead. Same thing applies here with font styles, modern, classic, or bold. Each one of the font packages comes with some kind of font style, or theme package rather. If we look at the Diplomat theme, what I try to do is pick out a theme first usually, and that way I can know what my text is going to look like. But it doesn't really matter too much because the text boxes don't really, the size of the text boxes really doesn't change too much. So you don't have to do this first, but if you like to, kind of build as you go, seeing what it looks like, you can also do it at the end. But each one of these is going to have a different style to it. And it's up to you to pick one that you might like and experiment with the color schemes and so forth to see what fits your aesthetic tastes. We got a little typo there. I'll just fix that. Anyway, so themes. Once you figure one out, again, you want to make note that the palette applies to everything that is on the entire site. So you can't really differentiate page to page. It's more of all or none when it comes to selecting a theme. If you're working with collaborators, maybe you're building a site with your grade level colleagues, perhaps you're assigning this task to students where you want them to work together. When you click Add Collaborators, it's simply a matter of typing in someone's email address, and they will then have editing rights. You can notify that person. Notice there's no space to decide can edit, can view, can do this, can do that. We're simply going to send that off to that person and give them the rights to come in and work on the site with us. Normally I would send a reminder, but I'm just doing this for a demo. I'm going to remove Barb in a couple minutes, but let me just click OK. And now Barb and I can work on this site together. You can also notice transfer ownership. So if you know you're leaving a grade level, or if you know you're going to leave the district or what have you, you can make someone else the owner of your site, and then they can control who the collaborators are. I'm not published yet. Notice this long, bizarre web address. Google has been saving my stuff as we go, so it's okay if I close this. Let me just go back to Google Sites one more time to see how to retrieve it. And we're working in the new Google Sites. There's my demo for world history. Notice the dots. You can rename it, you can remove it, you can open it in a new tab. I'm just going to click on it so it opens up. So again, this is not the link you're going to share with folks for them to access your site. Your site technically is not yet published. You need to click the publish button to do that. And the web address is going to be https://sites.google.com/westtennessee.org/you make up the rest. And I call this demo site 1. Call it demo 01. You'll know if your site is valid because you'll get a little check mark. If it's not, you'll get a message. Who can visit my site? Right now it's set by default, so anyone at westtennessee.org. But again, if you're publishing so that families can see stuff and can retrieve documents at home, you want to select anyone on the web. That doesn't mean it's searchable. If you want your site to appear in search results, you can check the box. I don't ever do this, but maybe you want a bigger audience than just those who you share the link with. But when I'm all set, I can simply click publish. And once it's published, notice a little triangle appears at the top of the page. Now you can go back to your publish settings if you want to. And let's say you're not satisfied with what you call the site, you can change it and republish. If you want to change any of your settings, you certainly could. You could also view your published site. Notice the web address is now different. It's what you called it, sites.google.com/westtennessee.org/demo1. And because I'm on the home page, home is in the suffix of the URL as well. But this is something I can copy. I can select Control-C on my keyboard. I can paste this in an email. I can paste it on Google Classroom. I can share it with whomever I want, send it home in a newsletter or what have you. But this would be the link that you would share with folks who are visitors to your site. Again, not for collaborators, but rather for visitors. And then they can navigate your site and see the content you shared. If you recall, in a previous video, I mentioned how you want to set your content up in Google Drive so that anyone with the link can view. There's the content I shared from a Google folder, a Google slideshow, a video that I happen to have, a Google form. As you go through each page, you'll see the elements, whether it's the YouTube videos I set up, the Google Maps activity that we did, as well as the Google Calendar with the various due dates that are the single event that I actually put on there. I don't think I populated page 4, but because I'm the site owner and I have editing rights, you'll notice there's a little pencil icon in the bottom corner, and I can go back and I can edit my site directly from here, or I can return to the original page that I had set up originally to do all this. If your site is published and you don't want it published anymore, you can click Unpublish, and that will remove it from the publish settings and kind of take you back to edit-only mode. Of course, your collaborators are still welcome to work with you. And finally, if you click the dots, it means there's more. You can send feedback, you can get help, or you can take a tour of Google Sites, their help section. Notice you have one for the new sites and the classic sites, and the new sites will take you through step by step with links to creating, renaming, etc. So if you're looking for handouts, this is a great place to go for written information rather than video instruction in how to get support for your site. So again, let's just view it one more time. Alrighty, and you'll notice this icon in the top left corner. This is going to take you back to the Google Sites homepage in the new Google Sites. And again, all the stuff you've ever created will be here. If someone has shared a site with you, you can differentiate between owned by anyone, owned by me, or not owned by me. You can arrange them alphabetically, and you can open in the file picker as well. Notice this stuff lives in My Drive, and you can exclusively see your sites that live in Drive. If you happen to be in Google Drive, maybe you forgot how to get to Google Sites, I could type in Demo 1, the title of my site, and lo and behold, there it is. It lives in Google Drive as well. So you want to notice the icon. You have this square with kind of a long bar layout with 2 other elements on the page. There it is, Demo Site 1. There's also an icon for another Google site, which is unrelated, but a Google site nonetheless. Anyway, hope you found this useful, and thanks for listening.